Welcome back to Cruise Through HTX, the final season, which is focused on powerhouse pet owners. And my guest today writes about restaurants. Her bylines include Texas Monthly, PBS, and Food Network. Megha McSwain is juggling deadlines, Underdog Houston restaurants, and 2 rescues who do not care about her ward count and absolutely care about whatever she brought home in that to-go box. This episode of Cruise Through HTX is brought to you by my company, Speak Podcasting, a podcast production company that builds media empires for iconic businesses and nonprofits. If you want to launch a show, go to speakpodcasting.com to get the combo started. That's SPEKE podcasting.com. Megha, who are your dogs?
Pax and Wadsworth.
Wadsworth?
Yes.
Okay, where does that name come from?
Okay, I know everybody asks. So this is so funny. Do you remember the movie, I think it was from the 70s or 80s, Clue, based on the board game?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh my God, you must watch it. Tim
Okay.
Curry, Christopher Lloyd, like Madeline Kahn. It's so good. So, you know in Clue, they have the butler, the Miss Scarlet.
Oh, like you hit, like they killed the person with
the knife in the billiard room, whatever.
Okay, I played the game.
Yes.
I just remember the movie.
So they made a comedy, kind of like a dark comedy about the
Okay.
board game, and it's got all the characters. And so the butler is Wadsworth. And my husband and I, it's our favorite, one of our favorite movies. We both grew up watching it. And when we started dating, we were like, have you seen that movie Clue? And we sort of bonded over it, and we love it. And it's just so funny. And it's just one of our favorites that like rewatches.
Yeah.
And so when we got Wadsworth, which was just like 3 years ago, it's so funny because he doesn't even, it's not like
he doesn't look like a Wadsworth?
No, he's just he's like a white Maltese mix.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's just so funny when you see a cute little dog and he's got this silly name, like this silly long name.
Right.
So we named him Wadsworth. And
Does he wear a monocle?
Yes, he does. He came that way from the rescue. No, he's adorable. He's a little Maltese mix, and so we really call him like Wadsy or Wad. Sometimes we call him Wad. Poor thing. It's so bad. But yeah, that's Wadsworth. And then actually, a funny story about Pax. Pax, my husband got before we were married, so that was his dog, and out before it was his child before before I adopted him. And so he was from the Humane Society of Houston. And my husband picked the name Pax because it means peace in Latin.
Oh.
Okay.
I had no idea.
That I didn't either.
Makes sense though.
Okay. And that was the name he chose. Well, this dog is anything but peaceful. He's a terror. He's a little terrier mix.
Okay.
Terrier mix. And he's just, he fooled us from the beginning.
Well, you can't spell terrier without terror.
Terror, I know. It's awful. So
you can, but yeah.
We think that he had kind of a bad background.
Oh.
He's a little dog, and we think he was given back to the shelter from someone who had adopted him because he's really wary of kids. He's very territorial. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like anyone touching his bed or his food. And, he snaps. And so we have to be careful with him, even ourselves. Like he snaps at us if we get too close, or at night if he's sleeping. So he's anything but peaceful. At night
if he's sleeping?
Like we have to say, we can't get to, like if we walk by or if we're watching movies and we laugh.
Oh, so he's not a human bed dog. He's got his own spot.
No. We cannot sleep with him in the bed.
I was going to say
they are both crate trained. And so they both we call them their little apartments. They each have one, their crates, and they go into their crates at night. But no, we can't sleep with him. As much as we like to and enjoy being with them, we can't with him. So that's the story with their names.
Okay, so you got the Terror Terrier. Yeah. Now, how does that even work out with what you do as a food writer and you do a lot of work at home?
Yes, so I work remote. I write mostly all day. I'm on my computer other than going out to eat. So he sleeps all day. I mean, he's like any other dog. He's pretty normal. I wake up and I walk them. And the other one, you have to say Wadsworth is the opposite of Pax, that he is so gentle and sweet. And I think when he came into our home, he was probably thinking, oh, I have a brother. And it's like,
they don't get along.
Well, Wadsworth gets along with everybody, but Pax doesn't get along with anybody.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's tough. Yeah, in the beginning it was really tough, but now I think they've sniffed each other out as much, like they know they're both there for life. They coexist. Yeah. And poor Wadsworth wants to play and wants to do everything, but I think he's learned. I'm going to stay over here and you're going to stay over there. They also have like 5 years between them, so Pax is a little older, Wad's a little younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they both, I take them on a walk in the morning, and then they eat and they nap. And they're always right next to me.
Yeah.
If I have Zoom meetings, they'll be right there. And I'm just like, please don't let a garbage truck drive by. And then they'll start barking, and all those kind of anxieties.
Maniacal.
Yeah. But no, they're really good. And the reason I love just kind of working from home and having them there is because anyone who works from home knows that it can just go on and on and on into the night.
There's no beginning, middle, or end.
And there's really not. And I hate to say it because especially with my job, there's endless work to do. There's always more that you can do in every day. And so at home, especially, like I'll get up for snacks and things like that, but I won't go more than 5 or 10 feet from my computer. Like I'm always hovering nearby. Like I'm always like, okay, wait, just checking this, checking that. And one thing it just always leads to another, and it's hard to break away. So with the dogs being there, it forces me to get up and take them on these like nice 10, 15 minute walks.
A little micro walk.
Yeah. Like I'm not a smoker. I don't know. People who smoke, they'll get up and they'll go outside and stand there for 15 minutes. Break. Right. So it's just like my break, and it forces me to do that. And even if they don't want to go outside, sometimes I'm just like, I just need to get some air. I just need to be outside and walk. And just being outside does like a world of difference for me. I love it. And it's just like kind of resets me. And writer's block is a very real thing.
Oh, yeah.
It is 100% a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I will, even if I stop, and if I'm not going outside with the dogs, if I stop and play on my phone and doom scroll for like on Instagram for 2 minutes and I go back to my keyboard, it will reset my mind. So I'm like, okay, that sentence was just bad. Here, let me redo this. So those little breaks, I think, is the best thing. If they want to play fetch for a minute inside, or if they want to go out on the patio and not have a full-blown walk, those breaks are just rejuvenating. Right,
especially for somebody in the creative field. And I am a big fan of getting out into nature. Even like I've got a dog, he's an old man, but even if it's like getting out for exercise, and I like to write too, and with producing audio and then even watching back video and stuff, you get that tunnel vision just staring at the monitor, and it's like, okay, am I listening to this? Am I watching this too close? Am I too close to the work?
Yes.
And getting out makes such a difference.
It really does, because you really start not seeing things like a fresh. You don't get a fresh look when you're doing that for hours on end. So just breaking away and coming back with fresh eyes, even after 15 minutes, it's
because there's not another human next to you that you can say, hey, Megha, what do you think of this sentence? Hey, Tim, what do you think of this paragraph?
Yeah, that is the one thing I kind of miss about like being in an office, or even having Slack. Like we don't have Slack or any kind of like messaging system. And honestly, we just don't have time. Like there's not, because I know when I did have Slack at companies I worked for before, it was constantly like just talking about other stuff, or just like, beating around the bush or like not working.
Right.
But just even not having that and just trying to bounce an idea off someone there, when that person's not there, of course, now there's ChatGPT. Hey, what do you think about this? What do what should I do about this?
I mean, I do like using Perplexity for that.
Yeah, like AI, I mean, it literally feels like another person. But when you actually don't have another human connection in the same room as you, just taking a break for me, I feel like does a world of difference, because I just come back like another person.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you write about for people who are not familiar with Megha McSwain?
Yes, so I write about food. I mean, I've been writing about food and restaurants and chefs for like the last 10 years, at least 10 or 11 years. I started as a freelancer. I started on social media, just posting what I was eating and writing these like funny, silly captions.
Oh my gosh, so you're living the dream job. You started on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I started on Instagram like when Instagram was...
when it was only pictures, right?
Yes. I mean, I'm totally aging myself, but yeah, when it was just photos, when it was a square little, thing and filters, everybody was using filters. I mean, that was when I started. And I thought, well, I already have Facebook. And I mean, I had MySpace and Friendster too. Okay. So I already had all that. So I thought, what am I going to do on Instagram that is not already being shown on all these platforms?
Yeah.
So I thought, let me just make this about food.
Yeah.
And then that way people can, and so I never even let people know who I was. I was so behind the scenes.
Oh, wait. On Twitter, back when it was Twitter, you were Hot Pink Houston.
Yes.
That was how we met.
Yes, I was Hot Pink Houston. That was Instagram too. I was on Instagram and Twitter. It was Hot Pink Houston, and nobody knew who I was. And I would just like post a picture of pasta and like, oh, this, and okay, back then, I mean, I couldn't, definitely couldn't go out to eat at some of the restaurants I like to go out to eat at now, like fine dining restaurants.
Okay.
So I would drive to them. Like,
wait, you mean people know you now? Like
no. I mean, like they were expensive. Restaurants that were
okay,
expensive.
I understand
couldn't
now.
eat at them every day, but I wanted to post every day. So like if I was posting at, local foods, a salad, $15 or $12, that's one thing. Yeah. But I couldn't go eat a steak dinner every night or every day, and I wanted to post every day. Mm-hmm. So I would drive to a certain restaurant, like Cafe Annie, when it was Cafe Annie. Now it's called The Annie. But back then I would just go outside and take a photo of the patio, like and I would say, it's a great patio day in Houston for drinks at the Annie. Well, I didn't even go inside. I just, but that was my trick of posting every day. Like that became my thing. Like I wanted to be visible on social media. Mm-hmm. And I would do the same thing, like at the tasting room, like Wine Wednesday at the tasting room. Well, I was in my car outside taking the photo.
That is amazing.
So it was a mix of high-low. That was my way of doing high-low posts. So, I would post like if I was at, a donut shop. Well, that's $1, right?
So that's a high day.
That was a low day because that's a low cost day.
Oh, low cost. Gotcha.
Yeah, my high days were like maybe I couldn't. And I did go to nice places, but I wasn't going all the time.
Right.
So if I did go somewhere nice, I was posting that steak. And I would take a few different pictures so I could replicate
Let me stand on the chair.
Please. I have been on every chair in Houston. That is for sure. In every Houston restaurant. But see, those were the days where you
really
did that.
stand on chairs?
Yeah. If you look back on my Instagram, I definitely
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm not going to disrupt the dining service of the restaurant, but I have definitely done that. Yeah, for sure. That was back when, you had to get really creative with your posts because it was just a photo. Of course, now on social media with TikTok and Instagram Reels, now everything's videos. Yeah. So you have to do a full-blown video session in the restaurant. I mean, I think that's worse.
I'm breaking out in hives just thinking about it.
I know. Gosh, it's changed so much. But anyway, so that's how I started was writing on social media. And then my pictures started getting the attention of like radio DJs. Like I would do videos with 97.9. Okay. This was back when you were on.
I was on KRBE.
Yeah, you were on KRBE. And so I would do videos with 97.9. We'd go to like different restaurants and we'd talk about the food and they would put it on their website. Yeah. So that's when I started getting a lot more followers because their viewership obviously was huge. Their audience was huge. And then I started writing freelancing for magazines. I wrote for Houstonia, and they would pay me like $20 for a story, which is, how
many words?
I don't think they even told me. I just wrote my ass off.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, okay, it's $20 and you can write about whatever you want. So I would give them ideas. Huh. And I think I did a Meatless Monday story. So every Monday I would do something about a vegetarian dish, and I think I did date night ideas or whatever. And so I was so excited to be doing it. I didn't ask about words. I didn't ask about anything. I didn't care about $20. I was just doing it, and I was so excited to see my name in print.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my first thing. But of course I had a job. I had to work like 9 to 5 to do this. This was like a passion project. But then I realized I really wanted to be in the food. Like I wanted this to be a career for me because I was loving it. I didn't feel like it was work. And then I figured, how can I do that? So I started taking on social media clients, restaurants who didn't want to do their own social media. Mm-hmm. I would post for them.
Okay, that I did not know about you.
Yeah, I definitely did that in the beginning. I did that in the beginning where I would charge $1,000 or $2,000 for the month, and I would come to the restaurant, take pictures of their food and everything, and post for them. I was doing it anyways for myself. And I loved food. I loved being in restaurants, and I thought this is a great way to make some extra money so that if I'm writing for $20 an article, I can supplement that income. Yeah. So that's what I did in the beginning. And I had a lot of clients. And so that helped kind of fund my writing career. And then until it could actually become a career. And then it eventually did.
You know what's wild is that at face value, generalizing here, people would want to do social media before writing because writing is such an arduous task.
Right.
And, I guess if I have to do copywriting for this marketing agency so I can fund the social media gig.
Right. Well, now I see that, right? Because social media has become this huge monster and people are, now I look back, I'm like, why didn't I just become an influencer on TikTok? Back then.
It really sounds like it.
Because writing, you do have to sit and you have to use your brain and it takes hours and stuff like that. Whereas you could just do a post on social media and it could reach so many more people. Mm-hmm. I didn't know life was going to go that way back then. I will say I do a little bit of both because I enjoy social media and I enjoy making videos, and it's really the food aspect of it that I enjoy. So whether it's writing about it or making videos about it or talking about it, it's just kind of like I'm good with all of it.
What's your favorite thing to write about?
I mean, I think the thing I love the most and the thing that I'm most proud of as far as like sticking with the writing part is sitting down with someone and learning, like a chef or a restaurateur or someone who's kind of like given their life for this industry, learning their story and kind of putting that into words that people will read and appreciate. I think that's my favorite thing. And
what's a story that you're really proud of? Like one of these chefs?
Well, one of the stories I'm proud of, it's a more recent. I've done so many. I mean, it's hard to even think back about the ones from 5 or 10 years ago. But one of the ones recently that I'm super proud of is it was my first story for Texas Monthly. I was so excited to write for them. Okay, wait, sorry, another one came to mind, so I'm going to tell you two.
Go for it.
One of them was the oldest Indian restaurant in Houston. It's called Raja Sweets.
Raja
Sweets. It's in Little India in the Mahatma Gandhi district on Hillcroft and Harwin, like that area.
I didn't know there was a Mahatma Gandhi district.
Oh my God, Freddie, we need to go out to eat. Oh my God, I will give you a tour. It kind of originated back in the 80s, which is when my family came from India. I was not born here. I was born in Mumbai, and my parents moved here in 1986. And so that's where we would go to eat because it was the food that we sort of grew up on and knew. And so that restaurant, I wrote a story about it, not really thinking anything about it. I thought, well, yeah, I used to go there when I was a kid, and it was the oldest Indian restaurant in Houston, and it's still there today. The man who started it has passed away, but his daughter has now sort of taken it over and is running it, and it's still doing really great. And so I pitched the story to Texas Monthly, and we ended up doing a story about it. Well, Texas Monthly wanted to kind of put that into a segment for a show that they have on PBS called The Story.
Oh.
So we sat down, and we kind of really went into it. I talked about it. They filmed over there. I filmed over there, and they interviewed Sharon, who's the owner's daughter, who runs it now. And we kind of put that into this beautiful 8-minute segment for the show on PBS, and it was released last year. And it was so beautiful to see that story. And I have such a personal connection to it, and just the fact that in Houston, hurricanes, floods, like all this stuff that Houston restaurants have to go through. And this Indian restaurant that's not even in Montrose, it's not in the city. It's it's completely thriving from the community. This huge South Asian community.
It's still standing.
It's still standing. It's still doing well. And for me to be able to share that story with audience, people who didn't maybe even know there was a little India. That's what I love. Like those kinds of stories. And just for Texas Monthly and PBS to want to be able to share that on a larger scale, that meant everything to me.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because it's shining a light on the little guy.
Exactly. And that's my thing. The underdog, the little guy. Like that's what I love. I can write about food all day. This pasta's better than that pasta, this burger. But telling the stories of the people is my favorite thing.
Right, because anybody can make a hamburger.
Right.
My late grandma Tina made amazing tamales.
Yeah.
But a tamale is a tamale.
Right. But I want to know about her story and what her secrets are and what inspired her and all of that kind of stuff. Right. And just to share that, because there are people who are, no pun intended, hungry for that. Okay.
Yeah.
And they want those stories, and they want to know where does this food come from? Where does this flavor profile come from? Mm-hmm. So that was one of the stories I'm most proud of. And then a second one that's just kind of piggybacking off of that is I did a personal essay for Food Network where I wrote about myself and my have you seen that one?
I've read that one.
Yeah, that one I was super proud of, and I was shocked that they even wanted it. I was shocked that they even wanted an essay about my sort of personal journey of being born in India, coming to Houston and learning about all this American food for the first time in elementary school. Just going through the lunch line. Did
you write that first and then send it to them, or did they come to you?
No, they asked me, we would love for you to write an essay about your sort of personal experience. And I thought, why would anyone want to know this? But then, and I sort of had to dig deep to because I was like, what is this story going to be about? To me, it's sort of just like recalling my personal memories. And I was like, how is this a story? And so when it finally came out, I realized how much of a story it was, because there are so many people like me who came from another country and forget the language and everything, but the food is not what you're used to. We ate Indian food at home every night. And so just going through the lunch line every day was an experience for me. It was like my learning, my knowledge. this is like a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
We never eat beef, and beef is not a thing in India. Pizza with pepperoni, pizza with sausage, like all the different vegetables, like mashed potatoes with brown gravy, with white gravy. Like I was just learning all these foods from my lunch line, and I would beg my parents, oh my God, can I please buy lunch? It was $1.10. And I was like, can I please buy my lunch every day? Because they were just like, we'll send you with lunch. So we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so I begged them, and so that's how I would learn things. And so that's kind of what the story was about, just learning about food and then just getting so excited about it because there was always more. There was new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Especially in Houston. My mom would take us to the Chinatown, on Bel Air. That's where we would go because we lived in A-Leaf and it was close. It was close by. And so for me, I was like, oh my gosh, there's Chinese food, there's Thai food, there's Indian food, there's American food, there's everything, Mexican food. I mean, it was always learning something new. So that's what the essay was about. It was just kind of turning that into what became a career for me.
Bringing it back to the season of Powerhouse Pet Owners. What is your favorite spot in Houston that's dog friendly?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. And now I will say, I can't take my dogs to as many places because my terror. He's not the best with other dogs.
The anti-Pax.
Yeah, it's exactly. That was what we should call him, the anti-Pax. So we have to be careful where we take them. We do take them to Manil Park, where we kind of sit in the park.
Manil Park. Oh, by the museum.
Yeah, like by the Manil.
Gotcha.
So we, over there, we can kind of sit away from people and like distance ourselves, and it's kind of peaceful, and we'll bring our own snacks and stuff. We have taken them to Heights Beer Garden, which is also very big. As long as we can keep our distance from other dogs.
You're not.
No,
you're not being painted in a very good favor, man. Sorry.
I go to Empire Cafe in Montrose, and I look at people with their dogs sitting outside, and it's all clustered together on that patio. I was like, oh, I could never bring Pax here.
This could be us.
I know. I always think that. I tell my husband, I'm like, why can't we bring our dogs here? And he's like, you know why? And I said, I know. So I feel like I can't answer that question from personal experience, but I can tell you where I see people with their dogs and they look like they're having a great time. But Empire Cafe is one that I love. What else? Oh, Kirby Ice House. Oh my gosh, that is my favorite because that is like going to a dog show. Oh. There are so many dogs at Kirby Ice House. Okay. Now there are so many locations of Kirby Ice House there in the Woodlands. There's one by me over in the Heights now, and there's the Upper Kirby one. But they have such a big patio, and they don't have any kind of limitations. So there's dogs everywhere. That's my favorite.
Before we wrap up, Megha, I've known you for more than 5 minutes, and I'm really excited about something that you and I have got coming up.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to talk about it. We're in the early stages. So at the time of this recording, it is February 20th, 2026. And we're going to be launching the Speak Podcast, and that's my business. We're going to launch the Speak Podcasting Network that's unnamed yet, still yet to be named. But
we're both so unprepared right now.
We're so unprepared. But we're working together on something.
Yes.
That is about...
So I'm going to do a podcast about food, something we're still honing in on what exactly it's going to be. But yes, I'm so excited to be doing a show with you. I can't get enough of talking about food and sharing stories. So we're going to come up with some really cool ideas, and we're going to do a season.
Yes, absolutely. So that is going to be happening, God willing, in October. Definitely by November is when Megha's podcast is going to be debuting on the network, and we're really excited. Yeah. And thank you so much for joining not just the show, but agreeing to join the network and this crazy wild idea that I have for building out something that is going to be truly, truly unique. And I wouldn't say not done, but something just different. And you know what? By default, they say different is already better.
100%.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Freddie.